Welcome to G3, a video and podcast series from 702 Communications. In this series, we review tech that makes our lives easier and our homes smarter. We also visit with guests from our community who create, share, or use that tech every day. I'm your host, Brian Crommett. If you've been a longtime watcher or listener of this podcast, you'll know that I've often talked about smart home gadgets. So when I meet people, I often get asked, how hard is it to get a smart home going, and how much does it really cost? So we thought it'd be an interesting podcast to answer both those questions. So in thinking about it, the answer to the first question is not that hard. The answer to the second question is, now my wife's gonna know. No, really though, any smart home these days is gonna be based around either a smartphone or a digital assistant of some sort. The big three are obviously the Amazon Echo, Google Home, and the Apple Home Kit. When I started down this road, it was May of 2016, episode 12 of the podcast, and it was really between Amazon's Echo and Google's newly released Google Home. I started with the Echo, and that's where I've stayed. Every smart device I tried because it had an integration with the Echo. So let's track as we go. First Amazon Echo, $69. The first smart device I had in my home, aside from the Echo, was a pair of LifeX bulbs. The easiest thing that you can do to get into a smart home is to be able to walk in and say, Alexa, turn on the lights. The very first time you do that, especially with your family around, life will never be the same. So my first pair of LifeX bulbs, $120. From there, we went to controlling lamps. We've got a lot of lamps in our house, so we could have put more bulbs in, but we could also get smart plugs and plug a couple lamps into them, and so that's what I did. I added a Belkin Wemo Insight smart plug. Actually, I added two of them for $60. So I got those added to the Amazon app, and the next time I said, Alexa, turn on the lights, my lamps turned on too. So now we were really rolling, right? Along the way, I tried some different light bulbs and some different smart plugs for closer to $20 each. I tried white-only bulbs. The LifeX that I have are multicolored. The white ones I got from TPLink and Eufy, those bulbs were $20 a piece, so that's another $40 for my smart home. But now I can turn on the lights in the front of the living room, the back of the living room, the big lamp in the corner, or the light in the dining room. I can also, with the addition of another smart plug, this time a Wemo Mini, light the Christmas tree. Alexa, turn on the Christmas tree. I'm like Clark Griswold, basking in the glory of the Christmas tree for only $22.99. But the smart home has to have more to offer than just turning on and off lights, right? Well, of course it does. So we added a Wi-Fi thermostat, and suddenly I'm telling Alexa to set the living room to 68 degrees. I went with the Sensi thermostat from Emerson, by the way, and that's $99. You've maybe seen me talk about the Ring video doorbell. It's a really cool piece of technology too. This last cold snap in North Dakota seems to have frozen mine solid, so I might be on the market for another one, but the Ring was great for the last couple years. That's a little bit more expensive. Ring video doorbell, $249. Having gotten used to being able to see who's at our front door, though, we decided that it might also be nice to see if someone had managed to get around that video doorbell and make it into the house. So we added a Canary all-in-one home security system. $169 gets you real-time alerts on motion, temperature, and air quality. The newest piece of home automation equipment I've added is the August Smart Lock Pro. It's a little clunky, but it works really well, and that's another thing that we've added that's really changed our lives, honestly. I pull into the garage at night now, the GPS on my phone tells my front door that I'm home, and the front door lock opens. There's no more struggling for keys with your hands. It's $249, but it's a game changer. So if I add all that up, it comes to just over $1,000 of technology. I don't know that we're done with that $1,000. I know I've got a garage door opener to install yet, but that was a gift, so I don't have to count that. I've got a doorbell that I might have to replace someday, but every other piece of smart home tech that I've purchased is still going strong, so that is something to note. I'm sure I'll add more light bulbs along the way. Prices are coming down on those. I just saw a Hue set on Amazon, $50 for the 4 of them. So that's much better than the $50 each that we were paying when I started. So like lots of things, you pay a bit more to be an early adopter. If you waited this long to get into a smart home setup, you're probably in a pretty good place to start these days. Remember too, you don't need to add all of those things all at once. I've added these pieces over the last 2-3 years. So while $1,000 seems like a lot, if you add it, a couple bucks a month, you can get into a smart home. I should note too that not all this stuff really integrates that well with my Echo. The Canary can't do much, and neither can the Ring or the door lock. Those things all really interact through separate apps on my phone. I can tell you though that in all of this, nothing in my smart home is strictly necessary, but I can also tell you that we miss it when we're away from home. I can't tell you how many times I've had to stifle the impulse while walking into a hotel room to say, "Alexa, turn on the lights." I can almost guarantee that if you spend the money, if you build your own smart home, you really won't regret it. All right, so I know I talked about a lot of tech in the brief couple minutes here I talked, but I want you to know that every single piece of technology that I mentioned was in a prior review, and if you check in the comments, you check in the description below, we're going to link back to every podcast and every description so that you can see more in depth what all those gadgets do. That's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this look at how I put my smart home together. If you did, let us know. Comment on the video, send me suggestions, and remember to share, like, subscribe, and tell all your friends because we've got more shows coming up. Until next time, I'm Brian Crommett. This is G3. Game on.